Hello, dear viewer, and welcome to my very own slice of the internet. We call this the Man of Culture YouTube channel. My name is Billy, and I'm here to take you on a journey of my weirdness and thoughts on all sorts of different things. And in this video, I'm here to really explain what that may contain, and mostly this video is just a test for you guys and me to see how I want these videos to function. So, with that being said, cue the gameplay. So, as far as this channel goes, I really want to focus on being able to talk about things I enjoy, such as video games, manga, anime, movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. Because ultimately, I've always had a heart for that nerdy kind of culture that you really see a lot of, especially today, because we have really an era of entertainment, and I've always really appreciated those types of things. And going into detail, I guess, talking about things like anime, I love the story structure of those kind of shows, and I love the way that they really animate and show a whole new side of things that you couldn't really think of or see in a more Western animation like Rick and Morty or Family Guy or Archer or something like that. And they really have a very broad and unique sort of texture and understanding. It's really a perspective of being able to see a whole new side of the world, really. It's all about coming to a common goal, a commonality of being able to see a whole new structure of entertainment that we can't really see within Western productions, such as some of the ones I just mentioned, really. I mean, there's a whole precedent in the West about having functionality within these different subgenres of media, yet we can't quite capture the same levels of storytelling in our Western animation. I mean, sure, there are shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender that do capture that same idea, and Ruby, which that show has gone downhill. I haven't liked Ruby for a very long time. First 3 or 4 seasons of that on YouTube were good, but I didn't really like that. The only series I do find Western animation-wise that do capture that same sort of feel and vibe is really shows on YouTube like Autodale. That's a fantastic example of what it means to be a good animation with high quality content. And I feel like having series like that really come into focus would be more interesting to see more of within our Western world. Like, we don't see a lot of stories, especially on mainstream media, such as any platform like Netflix or HBO, that really have good animated series, aside from, like, well, Arcane. Arcane was fantastic. I mean, that series is a masterpiece. It really is. And that's one of the few examples of Western animation really copying the same kind of ideas of what a Japanese animation can really show us. And I really love that series. That was really great. I'll talk about that in a future video because I do want to go into more depth about that series and really talk about some of the different aspects and points of it. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that or when I'll be able to, because it's just, I need to learn how these copyright things work and all that kind of stuff. So that will be a project later on. I'm sure I'll get to there eventually, even if it's when season 2 drops, which I'm sure will happen eventually. Anyway, moving on to more like TV shows and movies and that kind of generalized stuff that we see. I'd like to talk about shows like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, stuff like that has more grounded basis and a longer runtime. I've always loved those kind of shows. They've really had quite a unique storytelling that I found really enjoyable. I do appreciate that sort of gameplay, not gameplay, but you know what I mean. Storytelling within a film production side of things. I really like what we can pull off here, and I do appreciate that. I feel like the West tends to have a better quality of live action than the other side of the world. Like, for some reason, production quality here, when it comes to movies and shows and stuff like that, it seems to be higher, at least to me, from my understanding of these things. And I don't know if that's true or not, but to me it really seems like there is a precedent of that being a whole culture, and the whole culture of film here in the West is definitely more in depth about what we're doing with our productions. And moving on from there, even talking about video games. Now, video games are something that you'll see a lot on the channel, because I want to do a whole thing of overlaying gameplay onto the background of the video while I'm talking, so it's just not my face and my bookcase the whole time. Because as much as that would be interesting and possibly something to look at, I feel like there's more of a precedent to show something of more entertainment value, and having me kind of talk about whatever I want to talk about in the background while you watch that gameplay. Whether it's good or bad, that's up to you. But that's not really the point of it. I want to try and have good gameplay, but that's not really what I'm going for. Like, I'm gonna probably have games like Call of Duty, Halo, Destiny, stuff like that, and then some smaller games like Hollow Knight or Stardew Valley, some indie projects like that. And who knows, I could have all sorts of cool things on there. Another side of gameplay, though, or video games in general, I plan on making videos on stuff like Minecraft that was in my childhood and really important for me growing up, and that I really enjoyed, especially things like Halo along with that, and upcoming releases that I'm really excited for, games that came out in the past that I love, like the BioShock games, all sorts of cool stuff. And in general, I really love all these sort of nerd cultures, and personally, I love all sorts of different subcultures and sub-genres of media. A lot of people try and stick to one or two things within a certain place that they like to be in. For me, that's always been a hard thing. I really like the idea of keeping up with all sorts of different mediums and really seeing all sorts of different genres of those mediums and seeing what they're able to produce and what quality of content they're able to produce, whether it's high quality live action footage or a well-published video game with high production value or even lower production quality. That doesn't make it a bad game or a bad movie even, really. I mean, look at a lot of YouTube shorts. YouTube short films are a really interesting concept, and I feel like that's a really good thing for the platform. I feel like things like that do help this platform a lot, and I've always enjoyed looking at those. Like, seeing those productions is something I always like. I believe Markiplier recently released one called In Space, and that was really cool. I liked that one a lot. There's also been a ton of other horror type short films and other things on the platform that I've noticed over the years that really have sprung up a good idea and caught a brilliant story within a small time frame. The longest I've really seen is like up to 30 minutes, and that's really not a lot of time. Another thing with all this is video games. I can play almost any genre of game you throw at me. I really love gaming, and that's probably my favorite pastime. One thing I do almost every day, and it can be pretty bad at times. Admittedly, I can put a bit much time into gaming as a whole, but I feel like that's one of those things with this channel that I'm really excited to talk about because I love video games, and I've grown up with video games. I've probably put more hours than I really should in these stupid things, but you know. It's really a whole thing of perspective with me. I feel like this channel is going to be a good thing for me as a whole, and I hope you guys are really excited for this. I'm going to start trying to post fairly frequently, probably once or twice a week depending on how things go, and just in general how I want this channel to function or how much research a video takes. I want to try and have at least 4 videos a month. I feel like that's a realistic goal for myself, to the point of being able to have potentially good projects and good content between 10 minutes, maybe longer, but 10 minutes is sort of the range of content I really want to aim for, because that really gives a good quality of where I want to be. So anyway, I think that about wraps it up, guys. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about what I want this content to be about, where I want to go, and where I wanted to take from here. Anyway, like the video, comment and tell me what you think about this video, what you think of my upcoming projects, and even how hyped are you guys to see this channel go anywhere, and just give me your thoughts on some other things that you're interested in. I would love to see your feedback, so anyway, peace out.